Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Lewis. It was kind of a crazy day in the market. Bitcoin posted its largest daily candle, dropping $10,000 within 24 hours. Absolutely huge move. That actually also happened on Ethereum as well, so we'll talk about that. The market is also taking a little bit of a breather. So people who have been investing in the market might be asking themselves, hey, should I start selling? Is the market going to crash? What's happening? The first thing to understand is that having technical analysis or a fundamental understanding of the market is just the first step. Having the right psychology and understanding what's going on and being able to hold on during these really hard times is more important than knowing whether or not you're buying the right stocks, because over time, if your time horizon is long enough, you're going to do just fine. So let's start with Bitcoin. So let's dive into my computer real quick, the trusty surface here. Okay, taking a look here. So this is my chart on Bitcoin. Today we had a massive dump. As you can see here, it was as high as 58,000, dropped all the way down to $44,000. So if you bought anywhere near the top here, you might be completely freaking out. Now, $10,000 sounds like a lot. That really only impacts you if you bought an entire Bitcoin. So if you dropped $58,000 and then a day later you lose 10 grand, that could be a big deal. But if you only put in a little bit, we will go and take a look here. From a percentage drop, it's only about 23%. So Bitcoin, if you are new to Bitcoin, 23% is just a walk in the park. People who've been holding it, riding the bull of all bulls, know that this is just a regular pullback and it's actually healthy for Bitcoin in order to continue upward, which is an important part of just an overall investing strategy. So what happened today? Well, there's a lot of speculation and nobody really knows for sure. This is just the way the market moves, and if you're dealing with Bitcoin or Ethereum, these things just tend to happen. And as you can see here, if we switch over to Ethereum, very similar move. These charts almost look exactly the same, but what you'll notice here, the way I have it charted on my Ethereum, is that it kind of fell out of this ascending channel here. So is that a bad sign? Well, it means that the movement upward is taking a quick break, but it's still above this 1420, which is the all-time high. So still a bullish sign. The Ethereum's just taking a breather for the moment. Some speculation out there is that the F2 pool, which we know has been doing a lot in terms of dumping Bitcoin and pushing the price down, may have had a huge dump on the market, which is causing the price to fall. Now, why would they do that? At the end of the week, we do have futures coming up, so once those expire, there's usually some volatility in the market, and they're basically just trying to play the move here. So if you have a ton of Bitcoin, thousands of Bitcoin worth hundreds of millions of dollars, what they are doing is selling a ton of Bitcoin, just dumping it onto the exchange, dropping the price, but at the same time, they're also probably buying short positions. Those short positions assume the price will go down, they sell, push the price down. Now their shorts are in profit, and then they just buy their Bitcoin back, rinse and repeat. So why is that the case? Is that a bad thing? Well, I don't know. If you're F2 pool, it's a great thing. You're making a ton of money. If you're everybody else, you just have to be along for the ride. Now, when you look at Bitcoin or any type of cryptocurrency, it's a very volatile space. As a market cap of cryptocurrency starts to increase, that volatility will go down because it's going to take much more money, much more coin in order to move the market up or down. So right now, they're still able to move a market because we're sitting at around $50,000 and the market cap is right around 1 trillion. Once that gets to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 trillion, these types of moves will go away. Now, no market is going to be completely immune to market manipulation, but right now it's still a relatively immature marketplace, so these things are to be expected. So as we're looking at this, you'll find that the move that's happening right now is very similar to when we first broke $40,000. Once we broke, there was a massive dump, and we all thought this was the end of Bitcoin. Start selling all of your Bitcoin. The bear market has begun. It's over. And here we go. A few weeks later, it breaks above this channel, and now it's to the moon. $60,000. Almost. Didn't quite get there, but I'll take 58 grand. And now we're doing that pullback. Again, if the price were to just go straight up, that's actually not healthy for the market. There needs to be some pullback and some consolidation in order for the price to get to the targets that we have laid out for this bear cycle. for this bull cycle. Going around the market, it looks like things are rather mixed. If you were looking at the charts first thing in the morning, 8:30, I'm in Central Time, so starting at 8:30 to 10 o'clock, you would have seen massive, massive sell pressure. Pre-market, a lot of the stocks were opening up well below where they closed today, and the S&P 500, Dow, and NASDAQ started the day deep into the red. But as you can see, we closed and reclaimed some of those losses. So now the S&P is just about flat, Dow about flat, and the NASDAQ basically flat, down 67 points, but that is not a big deal at all. Things are rather choppy, but if you take a look at the biggest losers, Tesla, which, full disclosure, I am a Tesla holder and I bought north of 800. Oh, that's not good. They took a massive dive today. So, that's just part of trading. My advice, why I'm making this video, is if you want the gains, you have to be willing to take the losses. If you have a long-term play, and if you know what it is you're buying, whether it's cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or you're buying stocks in the stock market, if you know what you hold, it just helps you hold onto those stocks a little bit longer. Now, if something fundamentally changes, if something happens to Bitcoin that means that it no longer has the future prospects that I think it has, then I will sell. But pullbacks like this are normal. They do happen and they will continue to happen. You just have to keep holding. Now that I'm holding, what am I also doing? I put buy orders if the price continues to have downward pressure. I have buy orders on Bitcoin and Ethereum in case the price keeps going down. Now, if they do not get filled, then fine. I'm already fully positioned in Bitcoin and Ethereum so that if the price continues to the moon, then I'm perfectly fine. I will capture that upside. But if it continues to go down, those are your opportunities to accumulate. So some other things, like I said, I would only sell if Bitcoin were to fundamentally change in my thesis in the price of a Bitcoin going to north of $100,000. So as you can see here, Square buys $170 million in Bitcoin to boost its holdings. Now, Square offers Bitcoin to its tens of millions of clients. And they bought, what you can see here, is right around the price of $51,000 per Bitcoin. So what does that mean for me? Every time I see an institution or a large corporation buying Bitcoin at a certain price, that to me mentally establishes a floor for that price. Now, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin will never be below $51,000, but it tells me that people who are much smarter than me, who have a lot more resources than I do, are still willing to buy Bitcoin at $51,000. So that is signal that tells me that Bitcoin is still cheap. So with all the information you have access to, it's really important to cut through some of the noise and just focusing in on the signal. That's what keeps you strong and able to have those diamond hands, not those paper hands, because as soon as you start selling, the big boys will scoop it up, they will hold it, and then basically the boat will sail. And once the boat has sailed, I guess it's just too late. So all that being said, is this still a time to buy a Bitcoin? I would still say yes, but it all depends on how you're currently positioned. If you have already built a strong position in Bitcoin, buying this dip is a great idea. If you hold 0 Bitcoin or 0 Ethereum, that's when you kind of have to go back to the chart here. So it all depends. Right now, we are still under pressure. This purple line here that I have drawn in is a long trend line dating all the way back to this breakout down here back in the middle of December. So this trend line has been a really important trend line that the market has been looking at. As you can see here, it stayed above it. It was tested as support here and here. When it got overextended, it came back down for a test, bounced off, but then it finally lost that support. Now, as Bitcoin tried to rally itself back, look at, there's a test right here, got beat back down, fell back into this channel. Once we broke the channel, the first area of support was this major trend line. Once it broke it, and it did it in a very spectacular fashion, it made a massive move to the upside. We're going from $43,000 all the way up to $58,000. So now with this massive dump, we kind of stopped a little bit on that trend line. Now we're below it. That tells me that the trend is now has some downward pressure. Does that mean we're going to keep continuing down? Maybe in the short term. Overall, though, this will eventually recover, and I do think that we're going to make our next leg up with a price target of closer to $70,000. So if you were in the market today, it was a bloodbath, but view it as an opportunity to buy more. And as these things keep happening and unfolding, I'll be sure to provide updates. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. Keep holding your Bitcoin, keep holding your stocks, And if you got some dry powder, buy more. See you guys in the next video. Still don't know how to hand these things.